Hi, welcome to this Mayan lesson, The Science Behind Plants. And I'm going to read this book here and study what do plants need to make their own food. We're going to be skipping some pages, but we'll hit most everything, and we have some questions for you to answer as well as we go through this book. So let's go ahead and begin. Plants are all around us. Look outside your window. What plants do you see? Are there tall trees? Are there leafy bushes? Are there beautiful flowers? There are many different kinds of plants, and they are everywhere. Some plants grow all by themselves, while others are planted by people. We need plants. We need plants. Plants give us food. Fruits, nuts, vegetables are all plants. Grains such as wheat and barley are plants too. How many different plants have you eaten today? We use plants to build things such as houses and furniture. Plants also release oxygen into the air. People need oxygen to live. Animals need plants too. Just like people, animals use plants for food, shelter, and oxygen. Take a look at this picture. Plants need sunlight to live. Trees are the largest plants. Most flowers bloom in the spring or summer. Plants have leaves. I got a journal question for you here. Why do plants need sunlight to survive? You can go ahead and pause and answer that question. What is a plant? A plant is alive. It grows just like you do. However, plants cannot move around like you can. Plants are rooted or firmly planted into the ground. Most plants grow in soil. Some plants can grow in the sand or in areas that are very rocky. Some kinds of plants grow in the water. Water plants grow in lakes, ponds, and rivers. They also grow in salty water. Water lilies have big leaves that float on the surface of the water. Interesting. Let's look at a journal question, page 6. Why do plants have different sizes of leaves, such as a palm tree and an oak tree? So think about that. You go outside and you see all different sizes of leaves. Why do plants have really large leaves? Why do some plants have very small leaves? Go ahead and answer that question. Excellent. Plants do not need to eat food to live like you do. They make their own food from water, air, minerals, and sunlight. Minerals are nutrients that plants get from the soil. They can help them grow. Plants are called producers because they make or produce their own food. Some plants are very, very big, like this giant redwood tree. Page 7. Plants are producers. Why are animals, including humans, not classified as producers? Plant parts. People have some of the same parts as each other, such as arms, ears, and toes. In the same way, plants also have some of the same parts as each other. Each part of a plant helps it live and grow. Roots. All plants have roots. Roots are the part of the plant that is underground. The root keeps the plant from falling over. They also absorb or soak up water and minerals from the soil to help the plant grow. Stems. The stem supports the plant. It helps the leaves to reach the sunlight. The stem also carries water and minerals from the roots into the rest of the plant. Most flowers have thin stems and are soft yet stiff. The trunk of a tree is very large, hard stem. In your day, you have probably eaten roots many times. Whenever you eat a carrot or a sweet potato, you're eating the root of the plant. Water and minerals flow through the roots of this tree in the trunk. Why are plant stems such an important part to the survival of a plant? Think about that question. Leaves. Leaves grow at the ends of the stems. The leaves of a plant absorb sunlight. Many plants lose their leaves in the fall when the weather turns cold. They will grow new leaves in the springtime when there's more sunshine. In some areas, flowers and other small plants start to grow their leaves a few weeks before trees do. That way, their leaves can absorb sunlight before the larger tree leaves block it out. Look at the leaf up close. What do you see? Page 10. Why do you think plant leaves do with the sunlight when it is absorbed? What do they do with the sunlight in the leaves when it is absorbed? Awesome. We're actually going to skip a few pages here. We know other parts of the plant, flowers and fruit, and you could always find this book on Bion and read the entire thing if you wish, but we're going to focus on a few different pages. This is actually a very interesting picture. As I was looking at it, you can see as the plant is growing, you notice some different things here. If you look at this little plant here, first even the seedling or the young plant, notice that my arrow is going, I guess, turn it around here. Notice that they have leaves here, but do you see any leaves on the sprout? I don't. So here's my question. If leaves help make food for the plant, where's this sprouting seed? Where is it getting its food from? Because there's no leaves on it yet. So how is it growing? Think about that one. Growing plants. All plants need 5 things to live. They need water, minerals, space, air, and sunlight. Water. Cells are the building blocks of life. A plant is made from millions of tiny cells. The cells are filled with water. If the cells dry up, the plant will wilt or droop and die. Minerals. Plants need minerals to grow. Plants use their roots to get minerals from the soil. The minerals must be mixed with water in order for the roots to absorb them. And we have a question here. Page 16. Minerals are not food, but they are usually contained in food. Why do you think minerals are important for plants? So that's a misconception. A lot of people think minerals are food. They're in food, but they have a specific purpose for plants and animals. So why do you think minerals are important for plants? All right, space. Plants need room to grow above ground. If there are too many plants in one area, they will have trouble finding enough room to grow. Plants also need room for their roots to grow below ground. Most plants cannot grow in the areas with a lot of rocks or concrete. The trees need a lot of space below ground as well as above ground. You can see that picture there. And we have a question for page 17. What would happen to the growth of large plants if they're planted too close together? So if they're planted too close together, what would happen? What do you think would happen to the growth? Kind of think of this picture we had on page 17. So if we had a bunch of different plants all growing next to each other, what do you think would happen? Sunlight and air. Plants do not eat food like people. They make their own food using water, air, and energy from the sun. This process is called photosynthesis. First, the leaves of the plant collect sunlight. They also collect a gas in the air called carbon dioxide. Then the sunlight mixes with the carbon dioxide and water from the soil to create sugar. The plant uses the sugar for energy. Energy keeps the plant alive and growing. The process of photosynthesis also releases oxygen back in the air. Plants need water, air, and sunlight to live. This is actually a cool little thing. Measure up. We'll read there at the bottom. What do you think happens to a plant if it does not get any sunlight? Put a bucket over a weed or another small plant outside. Check the plant every day. Did it get bigger or smaller? Did the color of the plant change? Yep, that's something you can do. You can try this at home, that measure up, and you can record your daily observations over the span of 5 or 7 days. Keep a little journal there, and you can measure the height of the plant. You can record how many leaves it has. Does it change color? So there's all sorts of different observations you can do. But yeah, go ahead and try that at home. Great little experiment that's easy to do. And here's a diagram showing, this diagram shows how a plant uses photosynthesis to make its own food. That's a hard word to say. What two things does a diagram leave out that plants need? Think back to the other pages. So if you look at this diagram again, it does leave out a couple things that it did talk about in the prior pages. So what do you think it left out? Why are those things important, even though they were left out of the picture? And we're going to skip this page. Plants that grow where it is very hot may have very long roots to find water. Most plants can store water in their leaves, roots, and stems. Be careful, some leaves are actually poisonous to different animals and humans. Stay safe. If you're walking in the woods, you might see poison ivy or stinging nettles. Be sure not to touch them. You can get a painful rash. Let's see if we have a question there. Oh, why do you think many plants have defenses, like poison ivy and these other leaves that could sting you or give you a rash and things like that? Why do you think they have those? Going to our last page. We need plants. Plants are an important part of the world. We need plants to live. Plants give us oxygen so that we can breathe. Plants give us food to eat. We use trees to build houses and furniture. You are using plants right now because of books. This book is made of paper. Well, not this one. This one's digital. And paper comes from trees. Some plants can even give us medicine. Animals need plants too. Many animals eat plants or make their homes in plants. We can plant our own fruit, vegetable, and herb plants in our garden. And our last question. Plants are one of the most abundant living things on Earth. Why are plants so important to the Earth? What do you think would happen to life on Earth without plants? You can explain this in a paragraph, or you can even draw a diagram or illustration of why plants are so important and why we need them and what would happen if we didn't have plants. You guys did an excellent job with this Mayan book, and I hope you enjoyed it and you learned a little bit more about how plants make their own food. Have a great day, everybody.